You're looking live in room 1. This is chapter 7, individual test with me, Mr. Goldman. Number 1. If an article states that the probability of getting hit by lightning when standing on a roof during a thunderstorm is 1.5%, this means that... let's look at all the wrong answers. A, out of 100 people standing on a roof during a thunderstorm, 1.5 will get struck by lightning. Well, half a person can't be struck by lightning. So we should be able to eliminate that one right away. B, out of 100 people standing on a roof during a thunderstorm, exactly one person will get struck by lightning. What makes this wrong is the word exactly. This 1.5% is a theoretical probability. Putting 100 people on a roof during a thunderstorm is an experiment and a dangerous one. So the theoretical and experimental probability do not always match up exactly. So this is not correct. D, out of 100 people standing on a roof during a thunderstorm, all of them will be struck by lightning. This would be quite the experiment. It may happen, but certainly isn't guaranteed, so that one is not correct. Now we're left with, out of 100 people standing on a roof during a thunderstorm, each of them has a 1.5% chance of being struck by lightning. That's the key. That's what probability means. Okay. Number 2. Write an algebraic equation that can be used to solve the following situation. The key words are algebraic equation. What is needed in an algebraic equation is an equal sign, a variable, some numbers, and only one variable. Somebody in second period said you can only have one letter. You can have that letter more than once, but you can only have one letter. The situation, Mr. Goldman, Mr. Barbera, and Mr. Feinberg were competing in an annual wiffle ball home run derby and charity event to cure the common cold, Whiffles for Sniffles. At the derby, Mr. Barbera hit 2 less, so Barbera hit 2 less than 3 times the number of home runs that Goldman hit. So Barbera equals 3 times Goldman minus 2. While Mr. Feinberg hit 7 less than Mr. Barbera. So Feinberg equals Barbera minus 7. In total, all 3 of them hit 10 home runs. So that's the main equation. These are equations, but they have 2 variables. The main equation I want to solve is G plus B plus F equals 10, because I know that the 3 of them hit 10 home runs. This is an equation. It has an equal sign. However, there are too many letters. We need to make this only one letter. Since I know that B equals 3G minus 2, I'm going to keep everything in terms of G. So instead of B, I'm going to write 3G minus 2. And instead of F, for now, I'm going to write B minus 7 equals 10. So this is the same. This is a legal substitution. Instead of B, I wrote 3G minus 2. And F is B minus 7. I'm better. And now I have 2 letters, but that's still one too many. So I need to get rid of this B. I'm going to do the same thing I did with this one. And I'm going to write G plus 3G minus 2 plus 3G minus 2 minus 7 equals 10. Okay? And this B becomes this. All right? So this is my algebraic equation. That was what you needed for number 2. For number 3, solve the equation means don't use the 5D process. You could have used the 5D process to set up the equation, but now I need you to solve the equation. That does not mean I know the answer is Goldman got 3, so I'm going to plug in 3 to show that it works. It means actually solve it. So I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to first combine like terms. 1G plus 3G plus 3 more G is 7G. This part got a little tricky. I have negative 2 plus negative 2 plus negative 7 is 11 negatives equals 10. And now I'm going to add 11 to both sides. And get 7G equals 21. And now divide both sides by 7, and I get G equals 3. So Goldman hit 3 home runs. Now I can go back to this equation, and Barbera equals 3G minus 2. So Barbera equals 3 times 3 minus 2. Barbera hit 7 home runs. Feinberg equals B minus 7. So Feinberg is 7 minus 7. Mr. Feinberg hit 0 home runs. Not much of a power hitter, Mr. Feinberg. Feel free to tell him that.
Okay, I will.
All right. So that's what you needed. You needed the right answer, obviously, but you also needed to write an algebraic equation and to then solve that equation using the methods we've used in class. Number 4, if you want to increase the length of the side of a barn by 27%, what fraction can be used as a multiplier? We're going to talk about fractions, so I'm going to start with 100 over 100 because that's the original barn. I'm going to increase, which is addition. I'm going to add 27% in a fraction is 27 over 100. And then I get 127 over 100. I always start with 1. Since I'm increasing, I'm going to add 27%, which is 27 over 100. And this becomes my multiplier. If a pair of hammers is going to be discounted, which is subtraction, 84%, what decimal can be used as the multiplier to find the new cost of the hammers? We want decimal, so I'm going to start as a decimal. Instead of 100 over 100, I'm just going to do 1.00. I'm going to subtract 0.84, because that is 84% as a decimal, and I get 0.16. If you're getting an 84% discount, that means you're paying only 16%. 16% as a decimal is 0.16. Rewrite the equation so that it has only integer coefficients. We're going to use fraction busters. The first step is finding a common denominator. The common denominator between 3, 2, and 5 is 30. I'm then going to multiply both sides by 30. And I'm going to use the distributive property and show that I'm multiplying each term by 30. So I have 30 over 1 times 2/3 x plus 30 over 1 times 3/2 equals 30 over 1 times x over 5 plus 30 times 2. Now I can cross simplify. A lot of you made errors with this. So 3 goes to 1, 30 goes to 10. 10 times 2 times x is 20x. A lot of people then used, instead of 30 times 3/2, they did 10. But no, remember that just gets cross simplified here. So now I cross simplify again. 2 goes to 1, 30 goes to 15. 15 times 3 is 45. Cross simplify, 5 goes to 1, 30 goes to 6. 6 times x is 6x. And then 30 times 2 is 60. 20x plus 45 equals 6x plus 60. Now down here I'm going to solve it. 20x plus 45 equals 6x plus 60. First I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. That becomes 0. I have 14x plus 45 equals 60. Subtract 45 from both sides. 14x equals 15. Then divide both sides by the coefficient. X equals, I'm going to leave it as a fraction, 15 over 14. Now, some of you, if you got this equation wrong, but then you solved it correctly, you got +1 FT. FT means follow through. So if you solved the equation correctly, even if you didn't get this answer, you still got credit. I know, nice guy. Bob rides his scooter at an average speed of 4 miles per hour.